Hey everybody, Ed Carbajal and Matthew Hawkins here on May 11th, Invicta FC 47 Fight Night. This is the Coast-to-Coast Combat Hour brought to you by AllAccessMMA.com. Make sure you check out AllAccessMMA.com for all your mixed martial arts news and events, all the stuff coming up this weekend. We're doing something a little different tonight on the podcast. We're actually doing our version of a fight companion, multiple time guest. Jillian DeCoursey is fighting on Invicta FC 47. We actually interviewed her about that fight and a couple other things. She's fighting tonight, so we're doing our version of a fight companion, but we call it Fightside Chat here on this podcast. So, Matt, this should be fun. I mean, it's a first for us. Well, hopefully folks can drop in the comments, let us know what they think, but I'm glad we're doing it, man.
Heck yeah! It's enough of doing a show while the fights are going on. We might as well integrate it into our Wednesday night if Invicta is going to be cool enough to have Wednesday night MMA. So
yeah, I mean, and plus, the last couple ones that they've done on Wednesday since they went this route, we kind of like weren't able to do the podcast, so it's kind of nice to mix the two together.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, reason to grab a cold beer, and between the fights here and keeping the listening audience what's going on. If you're curious and you want to follow along, the fights are on YouTube. Just search Invicta.
Yeah, I actually dropped
On
the link on the
YouTube.
bottom. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link's right at the bottom of our description.
Okay, yeah. So anybody that wants to jump in and join us with this, that's what we will be having on in the background. We'll be watching it.
Yeah, and if you missed
Obviously,
it and you're listening to this on audio, I'll add it to the audio description as well.
cool. So, So we just had a fight end, so we're gonna look to do probably the next three fights. But until the next one starts, we obviously have some other MMA stuff to chat about. With a lot going on right now in the world of MMA, but nothing really more important or newsworthy other than this past weekend's UFC event, and really even above all the fights, the news that kind of swept over everything was Charles Oliveira missing weight on
Yeah,
Friday morning by half a pound, and being stripped of his lightweight championship. Despite later going on Saturday night and putting on another incredible performance to retain his number one contendership to his championship. So, uh, obviously, weight cutting's been something we've talked about really from day one of this podcast. Mostly all the negatives that go along with it. Um, there's really not a whole lot to say, but I guess I'll ask your opinion on it. I mean, you kind of got rules, so you got to got to do what you
yeah.
got to do. But um, it sounds like there was also potentially some shady business going on, or not, maybe not intentional shady business, but just some
Well,
incompetence going on a little bit with the
and
uh,
that's the
Arizona
thing too.
Commission.
I don't know if the incompetence leads to them just handing Oliveira back the title and taking away the paradox of what to do at 155 in the division there. Of course, our boy Eric McGracken of CombatSportsLaw.com went deep into the regulatory affairs where they were at in Arizona and found some fuckery in how things were handled. And then actually, it's funny that we're talking about it because today I just saw, before we started recording this, I saw Mark Ratner from the UFC's regulatory side said there might be some there might have been something, I forget what the quote was, something about the scales or the scales being manipulated or something to that effect. A bunch of Brazilian fighters were saying that there was an issue with folks messing with the scales. That there was a couple of 0.5 for non-title fights. There was a couple of 0.5 pound differences for folks. So there, and the multiple scales being used. So it looks like it looks like the road is being paved for them to hand that title back to Oliveira. Although, I mean, I feel like that'd be hard to go back on, given everything that's happened. I mean, what does it do for, like, what does it say? Like, does it make it seem more like it's fucking some WWE shit with their titles if that happens? I mean, the whole thing. I mean, what's more MMA than the title being stripped by the guy on the fucking scale on the day of weigh-ins? I mean, you and I were messaging each other when it happened. like of course, like I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Obviously, Oliveira's the number one contender. That's what Dana White was prefacing at the according to the whole deal. I think the rankings, if you look at UFC rankings, there's two number ones because of that. So,
oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, for me, rules are rules. So if you missed weight, in theory, you got to take the belt away, and it was probably the proper thing to do. But you know, the UFC also has the power to do whatever the hell they want.
yeah.
It's nothing more than a trophy their organization gives out. So they could, in theory, gift him back the world title.
Oh no. Correction. Currently on the UFC ranking because they updated on Tuesday. We record this on Wednesday. Charles Oliveira is number one. Dustin Poirier is number two. Gaethje's number three. And Islam Makhachev is number four with Chandler. Oddly, I mean, well, he beat Ferguson, who was at drops three. So he was 7. He went down to 10. So Chandler's still at number 5. So there's a lot of fun fights to make there. For some reason, Conor McGregor's at number 9, and Chandler called him out. I think we all know why that happened, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. So I mean, just to jump to the fight as Serena De Jesus is making her way out to the cage before we jump to that bout. But yeah, so let's real quick looking at that main event. I mean, both of us thought Gaethje would win. He came out firing. Actually, both guys came out firing. Oliveira, I thought, stunned Gaethje within the first about 10 seconds of the fight, which kind of changed things, I think, right off the bat, at least for Gaethje. But Gaethje came firing back, dropped Oliveira a couple times. The difference between Oliveira and most other MMA fighters is that he kind of gets like a boxing count to get up. He, nobody wants to chase him down to the ground. So he, while maybe not an 8 count to recover, he's getting a few seconds to recover that a lot of other fighters don't get that immediate opportunity to get. So, I mean, the fact being dangerous on, everybody knew he was so dangerous on the ground, but then he gets back on the feet and ends up, boxing up Gaethje a little bit, finishing it with a rear naked choke, and continuing his run of just insanity, really, at that weight class.
But I have to say something about because obviously he's winning. He's the most winningest man in the division right now, and blah blah blah. But I don't know after, especially this last fight. I don't know if he falls back to get them to engage him on the ground because that's where his strength lies, or if he's actually getting dropped. Because I mean, if you're a champion that gets, Chandler dropped him, Gaethje dropped him, I think Poirier dropped him too.
So I think he's getting dropped.
Yeah,
I just think the difference is that none of these guys are diving in to try to finish him, or at least Gaethje didn't try to dive in and finish him. And most of the guys who do dive in to finish him somehow end up getting reversed, and all of a sudden he's on their back choking him out. So, that's what's really, the difference with him. Most of the time when you drop a guy, the fighters tend to, go in after and go for the finish, and he's able to buy himself some extra breaths and some extra seconds to recover. While waiting for the referee basically to tell him to stand up. So, all right. So we've got Serena De Jesus versus Brittany Cloudy. Both girls in their 30s. Fight taking place at bantamweight. Cloudy comes in with a record of 4-3. De Jesus 2-4 as a pro. So should be an interesting fight. Jesus has kind of been around for a while, despite only having 6 fights, whether it's been through social media or me just seeing her name around Vegas a lot. Been around for a while. So, and she is on a 3-fight win streak over a couple former UFC fighters. So will be interesting to see if she's able to keep that run going.
Yeah, she's probably the favorite in this fight, but I feel like I've seen Brittany Cloudy fight before, but I don't remember much about it. I mean,
Tapology has Cloudy as a -150 favorite, and De Jesus as a +120 underdog. So essentially a coin flip with a little bit more leaning towards Cloudy. Again, this is Tapology, so that might have been something posted the minute they announced the fight. I have no idea what the odds are as this fight kicks off. So waiting for the referee to start it, and so we shall see how this unfolds.
Round 1 is underway. Is this the same referee from the last fight? I hope they're not working that.
No, different referee. So at least the Athletic Commission in Kansas City, there is open scoring.
Hmm.
Although I did hear the announcers mentioning that they weren't getting all the information to their desk. So unless we see it flash on the screen with the audio off, we will not be able to give a total update on the live scoring per the judges.
Looks like De Jesus is coming in with a little pressure, kind of like walking through punches to give some back.
Yep,
I,
taking the center of the cage.
it looks like
Circled up.
Cloudy has a reach advantage.
Yeah, she's got an inch taller, only an inch reach advantage, according to, again, Tapology. But it does look like Jesus has some longer arms though. Now that you look at her,
Yeah.
But Cloudy is
she's
definitely the ectomorph
yeah,
body type.
and she's using her jab a lot to try to kind of like I guess keep De Jesus at bay. But I mean, De Jesus seems to be throwing rockets at her every time she throws.
Ooh.
Cloudy's punches seem a little more straight though. I mean, De Jesus is kind of looping all her strikes. So if they like both throw, Cloudy's probably going to hit land first.
And De Jesus takes the center of the cage back. Cloudy being way more active, throwing lots of jabs. Nothing really landing significant though.
Yeah, lots of side to side too, which is smart.
Left hand from De Jesus to counter a right low kick from Cloudy.
It makes me, every time I see fighters use the left and right footwork, it makes me think of the Couture Liddell trilogy. I mean, that was Liddell's key to victory in the two fights that he won, was just moving instead of going straight back, going side to side.
Yep, lateral movement and then landing that the hook or the straight after the pivot.
I mean, it worked there, worked against Wanderlei Silva. I mean, worked for him for a little while.
Jesus throwing a couple big punches, fighters in the clinch. Kind of 50-50 at this point with Cloudy turning around, throwing an elbow. Now De Jesus has her back up against the fence. Cloudy with an uppercut in the clinch. Cloudy looks like she throws harder stuff.
Yeah, I mean, her elbows look like they're very pinpoint. I don't see anything.
Ooh, De Jesus answers with the elbow on the release, though. Well, I mean, we got this fight going on, and we can kind of comment, I guess, this past weekend. Obviously, the women's title fight didn't exactly live up to the hype.
Oh boy, yeah, this one's already way better.
We've already seen more punches thrown in 3 minutes and 15 seconds as opposed to about 30 or 25 minutes on Saturday night.
I don't understand how, at least Esparza, I know she went on the MMA Hour and kind of like confessed to not fighting at her best. But I mean, Namajuna's thinking that she actually won, where I mean, even if you're just watching, I mean, if you're moving away from your opponent, that's probably a score against you. I feel like the layman of combat sports judging would know that. It wasn't something that's I mean, on the East Coast, that was a hard fight to watch as a co-main event of a pay-per-view.
I was watching fights with some people who I used to watch, some family members. It was at a family birthday party, so had a couple uncles who used to watch the fights with me in the Tank Abbott days. And let's just put it this way, they weren't overly impressed with what they were seeing for that 25-minute span. I've never. It's just bizarre. The interviews that were given were bizarre. Cloudy lends a big right hand. Now in the clinch, knees really kind of muscling De Jesus around. Looks like she's lining the hard stuff and wearing down her opponent. They're up against the fence right now. She's in a body lock up against the fence. So throwing some low knees at the thighs and rib cage. I mean, to hear Rose say that she deserves to win the fight because she's always an active fighter and she should be able to win a defensive fight was like one of the most insane things I've ever heard anybody say in my life. Like you don't get to win a fight for being defensive. There's nothing that you in fact, that's the opposite of winning a fight. If you're on defense the whole time, or if that's your plan is to play defense the whole time, you're not winning the fight. Mayweather used to win a lot of boxing matches being the best defensive boxer that I've personally ever seen. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, when the stats were tallied at the end, while he might only land 40 punches, it meant the other person was only landing 3 against him.
Yeah, yeah,
So it,
yeah.
it made it clear when you got a fight where one fighter is basically both girls said that they were kind of in defensive mode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was bizarre, and the amount of punches thrown was pathetic. I mean, I don't know if it's
I mean,
recent bias, but
it's
I mean, you're talking though that was easily one of the worst fights in UFC history. I can't think of one that's worse without going back to maybe UFC 9 with Shamrock and Severn.
mm.
That made Nagano
I was just gonna say
and Lewis,
Nagano Lewis.
but
Yeah,
but they made them look like Gotti Ward. I mean,
yeah.
at least in that fight. And I had to sit in the arena for that one. At least Lewis was trying to throw some like flying kicks, and although it was bizarre stuff going on, at least there was
Something going on.
something going on. This was like, I mean, I can't at the end of the first round each people have, to have like 4 total punches landed is just and 4 out of like 8 thrown is combined is just ludicrous. I mean, I can't
For
even.
a championship fight. I mean, and not for nothing. Uh, during the second round, by the way, of Cloudy De Jesus, um, the Dana White was even like when people were talking about like what do you do next? I mean, Dana White is not trying to have that rematch anytime soon. I mean, obviously, whoever's next in line for a title shot is probably going to get it because he even said he was like, "Does anyone here want to see that?" Like he was not kind about it at all in the post-fight press conference. And I mean, who can blame him? I mean, we're still talking about it. Here it is Wednesday, the day after the event. I mean, we're still talking about it. Esparza herself was critical of it, even though she's got the title. I think the only one. I mean, I know that Rose Namajunas has a lot of fans out there and stuff. Um, but she's starting to just freak me out. Like she was crying when she walked into the arena to fight, and she seemed to be fighting back tears at the pre fight press conference. Like I don't know what's going on upstairs with her. Hopefully she gets it fixed or whatever, because I don't want to sound like a dick either. But I mean, it's just I don't know, man.
I mean, I
It's
think that's just been the territory there.
yeah.
She's always been a little different with mentality, and I hate to call it weakness or any like that because it would be I'm just a schlub
Yeah,
watching them
yeah.
fight, So it's not
Yeah,
like you
she's
said,
still yeah.
you don't want to be a dick and be disrespectful. I'm still a fan of her. I was rooting for her for the whole dang
Yeah,
fight, but
I think technically
um,
when she's focused, she's probably the most dangerous strawweight on the planet.
yeah, I just the fact that her and her corner man Pat Barry and
Trevor
was it
Whitman.
Trevor Whitman in her
Yeah.
corner, they all were acting like she was playing the game plan to a T. I mean,
Yeah.
they were like crediting her with getting the crowd to boo, and you're just kind of going, really? That was your game plan? Like, I get it that Carla had already beat you, 8 years ago, but you can't. You're the champ. Like, go out on your shield. Like going out on defense like that. Like, I mean, and like you said, Dana White's in no hurry to make a thing. I mean, it didn't work out for Carla either. That can't headline an event.
Mm.
Like that's gonna
No.
end up like that's gonna have to be like
You're
the
lucky
co-main
if you
event
get
on a
that on a
McGregor
fight
card.
night or yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have
Like
to
they'll
basically
headline McGregor Chandler for no title before they
no
put that.
title over that
Yeah.
fight because that's all you can do. And like you said, maybe a fight night, maybe like fight night Singapore or something
Yeah.
or fight night, just something where they just. But I don't, you know, uh, I'll tell you what. If I'm Jessica Andrade, I'm looking to try to drop back down to 125 though if they're going to give me a title chance against Esparza.
Yeah.
I mean, I stylistically that's perfect matchup
Yeah.
for Jessica. So
I mean, not
um,
for nothing. I mean, I guess the only reason I could think because Rose lost to Esparza so long ago. I mean, I think the personal victory for her was that she wasn't finished. She actually did a really good job of the takedowns that Esparza got. Breaking free and getting back to her feet. I mean, if we want to look at the pluses of the fight, those are the pluses, and from what I saw, so I can see that being a technical victory for you. But when there's a championship on the line and you're headlining a pay per view or the co-main event under another title, you know what I mean? Like it's a title fight. Um, you don't want to do the stuff that you're working on in the gym just to for personal victories. You want to keep your belt.
So second round here, a lot of action. DeJesus throwing some big punches. I would say winning this round. After the first round, the judges' scorecards did show on the screen,
Yeah.
perhaps setting up some controversy, as two of the judges gave the first round to Cloudy, while one judge gave it to DeJesus. I thought Cloudy clearly won the first round.
I don't know if you, while we were talking, I don't know if you caught the open scoring guy hold up the thing and kind of like show it to DeJesus. It's almost. I wonder if that's what's creating the urgency into what we're seeing in her right now, because
she came out and threw a big punch right off the bat of this round, and has been a lot more aggressive. So, but even if I'm Cloudy and I see that one judge gave that first round to Jesus, I'm already maybe questioning what these judges are watching and realize that I can't just coast
And
through this either.
what's funny is, we're talking about the scoring in the open scoring. I mean, we've had Sean Wheelock, who sits on the board with this very athletic commission that uses open scoring. I mean, it looks like, I mean, I can't. The more I see it, the more I can't find any negatives in it. And I know I quoted the whole Roy Jones Jr. thing back when open scoring was being discussed, which was like in the fucking 90s. But now, I mean, obviously, I mean, I feel like it's open scoring definitely should be exercised in a lot more than just Kansas City.
I tend to like it. I've always kind of supported it. The only thing that makes me question that is that Kaposa on Twitter is against it. And he's, no offense to you, he's about the dude that I take the most. I don't think there's anybody in this world who
watches more
watches
than
MMA, and I have more respect for it as far as a fan of the sport as that man or woman, whatever the heck. I don't, I assume it's a guy, but I don't know for sure. I've never heard him speak, or obviously he's anonymous behind Twitter, but yeah, I mean, that's the one. That's the one thing that him being against it, and I think his argument is pretty much your job's to win the fight anyway. You don't need to know what the score is. Go out every round and fight like you need to win. But that might be a little bit of a perfect world. I think that no, I mean, like, had Rose and Carla known the scoring of this past weekend's fight, would we have seen such a boring fifth round? I mean, had they known essentially it was 2-2 going into that championship round, as opposed to Rose thinking she was up 4 rounds to none. I wonder if that would have led to something a little bit different. Third round starts here. DeJesus taking the center of the cage and putting heavy pressure on Cloudy, pushing her back up against the cage. Cloudy answers, pushes back, hits a big right hand. Both girls throwing some heavy punches. I did not see if there was a scorecard update, but that might be still to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's early in the round. I was flipping through my tabs here, trying to see if we could get some like updated scoring for the total numbers. I feel like they might be even the way that they're fighting.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty easy. Like, I feel like DeJesus has really turned it on since the start of the second round compared to where she was at in the first round.
I'll tell you what, man. I mean, I feel like since that score was flashed in the DeJesus' face between round after round 1, she seems to have just thrown caution to the wind. Because, like you said, she came out of the last round like aggressive. She doesn't seem to she hasn't relented any pressure here either. And her elbows have actually landed more than, I mean, the first round I would say was more Cloudy's. Mm-hmm. And after that, I mean, I'm leaning DeJesus right now just because of pressure.
Yeah, I think she won the second round, and I think she's clearly winning this round right now. She has taken up some big knees occasionally to the body, but she's answering everything and fighting through it. And she's obviously a bit of in control, I would say, as she's the one forcing Cloudy up.
Oh, nice high knee.
She attempted a knee to the head from the clinch. So.
And I think I was trying to look at her where she hangs at the beginning of the fight. I mean, I mentioned Eric McGracken, how he did his due diligence looking into that whole title situation from last weekend. I believe he sponsors her, Serena DeJesus, or his gym sponsors her, or something to that effect. But I didn't see a Combat Sports Law logo, but I think it's his gym or the gym that he's co-owner of or something like that. But Yeah, if you want to look into the stuff that happened with that title, check out combatsportslaw.com. It's probably one of the most latest articles. But I'm pretty sure he sponsors De Jesus, and he's probably, I know he's watching this right now because he's as much as he gets into the legalities, he's still a fight fan. Oh God, is she going down?
De Jesus is just throwing big shots nonstop. She looks to be getting tired, but she's just relentless with her strikes. She threw like 3 Superman punches in about a 30-second span, and
yeah, that last left hand she threw before they clinched again. I think she kind of caught Cloudy falling
nice left
forward.
hand,
Yeah,
and then followed it up with a little bit of a knee that kind of clipped a little bit of the chin. She's back in the clinch up against the fence. Fight hasn't touched the ground for a single second. This fight. With like I said, De Jesus being the aggressor, clearly I think winning this 3rd round now, and might be on her way to a 4th consecutive victory. But yeah, but getting back to this, this past weekend's fight. But yeah, I just I think Rose is still the future of that division. But with Joanna and Wei Lee having a fight coming up, I think she will get bypassed in the future immediate rematch idea. So, and I think that's good for everybody that was into it. De Jesus working the clinch, uppercuts. What do we got? 57 seconds left in round 1. Working the clinch, knees, knee after knee after knee, back in the clinch. Lots of aggression from De Jesus. More knees, 2, 3 more to the body. Left hook. Just basically just dirty boxing, throwing a lot of knees to the body, working the heck out of Cloudy's body right now. Uppercut. Just a lot of dirty boxing. Clearly winning this round.
Yeah. With 30 seconds to go, I mean, you got to go. You got to go. You got to go. I was gonna say balls to the wall, but it feels weird saying that for an Invicta event. But you got to go. You got to.
Yeah, I mean,
go all in.
She's doing, working well. Dirty boxing is impressive. Lots of little elbows. There's 3 in a row right there. 4 from, with the left. 5.
Yeah.
6.
I think it's going to be.
I think we got 29-28 to Jesus.
Oh.
Fight ends. We will see.
Jesus definitely put her foot in this one. And now she's already celebrating, so I think she knows it too. I mean,
exhaustion celebration, yeah.
She probably saw the scoring though too, and I mean that's the other thing too. You don't have to wait for the judge's decision if you've already. Oh, I didn't know Mike Jackson was in Cloudy's corner. That's Mike Jackson in her corner.
Yeah. No, tale of 2 corners.
UFC's greatest fighter.
big win over CM Punk.
They got overturned.
Well, a big no contest against CM Punk on his record. So CM Punk's technically only 0-1 in MMA now?
Yeah. It's 0-1-1, yeah. All right, so we're waiting for the decision. I'm pretty sure Matt and I got it on the money, though. Would you say 29-27 for De Jesus?
29-28 De Jesus. You have the first round to Cloudy, the last 2 to Serena.
Yeah, De Jesus seemed to wake up as the fight went on. Like she was probably too calm when the fight started. She's got her fist raised already. 3 rounds. We go to the judges.
So we have a 30, a 30-27, and 2 29-28s, both for all 3 judges for Serena De Jesus. Winner by unanimous decision, keeping her 4-fight win streak rolling.
Yeah.
Well, got to give her credit, man. I like I said, 2 of the judges thought she lost the first round, and she came firing back and pretty handily won rounds 2 and 3. So
yeah, that was I tell you what, I mean, and before we started recording, we were ready because trying to figure out what we were going to talk about. We watched the fight before this. I mean, it was Fatima Klein versus Sydney Trio, and Klein won that fight. And I didn't see the first fight because I was still making my way in the door. But I mean, not for nothing, I feel like Invicta FC events always deliver which is kind of why we the last events we kind of just put the podcast aside so we can watch them. But I mean, we always message each other during fights, so this is kind of, I mean, this is more fun for me to talk about it, especially I mean, Matt is an encyclopedia when it comes to MMA stuff. So like you bringing up the old fights with when we were talking about as far as talking about what was it? Not the Luis Ngannou. What was the other one you said that was?
Oh, the crucifix?
No,
From
no, no.
Jerry Bolander versus Nick
yeah.
Sanzo. Pretty sure it was UFC 12, might have been 13. Those two events crisscrossed between the Tito debut and Couture and
yeah. I mean, the sport's come a long way, man. It's just crazy how I hope as we're watching Invicta FC, you know, that whole deal with we talked about it on the last podcast. Amazon Prime is picking up one championship. You know, Invicta right now doesn't have like a broadcast home. They're doing this on their own YouTube channel. I think MMA Junkie likes to host it to try to help them out with their numbers. Let me see. I have to expand this window to see how many people are watching this right now. I mean, there's like 2,800 people watching this right now, including us. I hope that they can get if MMA is looking for more streaming homes and Amazon's into it. And I know I read that quote from the person in charge of broadcasting there. I just want to reiterate. I feel like them adding Invicta to Prime Video would do wonders for you know, both ways, because this is definitely Invicta FC. You know, most of the women talent in the UFC comes from Invicta historically. I mean, it's just a great promotion.
Yeah, no, they tend to do stuff right. You know, obviously, Shannon Knapp, you know, and the Invicta that before the UFC really embraced the women fighters was obviously a little bit different because they had pretty much a monopoly on all the top female fighters. Now they're more of a kind of building careers as opposed to keeping, you know, people established.
Hey, yeah. While we're waiting for the next fight, and I know we're trying to like catch up with news in between the lulls of the broadcast on YouTube for Invicta. There was a Bellator event also that we kind of had with Ryan Bader and Czech Congo. I think you could have predicted how that fight was going to go, you know, when they were in Paris. I don't know what
I think we did predict how that fight was going to go, and it was Ryan Bader basically doing the stuff that kind of made fans not like him during a little bit of his UFC run with some less than exciting wrestling control.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you're the champ now, it's 5 rounds. So put me to sleep. Not a fight that I would ever recommend anybody bother to go watch. No idea what Congo's game plan was. You know, putting your back against the cage against a wrestler like that seemed pretty damn idiotic. And
I feel like they're, you know, they did it in Paris, and it would have been nice if Congo won in his home. You know what I mean? It was very nice. Like the possibilities of what could have happened would have been really nice, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, what'd you think about Romero's performance against Alec Polizzi?
Hey, I mean, he said it afterwards, like because everybody's talking about his age and his, you know, like, okay, he can't, and myself included, because when we were looking at that card, remember I said if it goes past, you know, I actually thought Polizzi was going to have a chance to win if it went past, you know, the later rounds. So, because there was that point where there's a point at the end of round 1, and I think it was at the close of round 2 or midway through round 2 that I did results for that event for MyMMAnews.com, so I was watching it, live tweeting and everything, and I was like, why isn't he finishing there? Then when the question was posed to him, he pretty much said, I did that because everybody keeps thinking I can't go, you know, a full fight because of my age and my size and blah blah blah. And now he's talking about going back to 185, and you know what I mean? Like he did it on purpose. But I liked what I saw from him. I mean, I'm jealous of the fact that he's only, you know, I mean, he's 45. He's a freaking nature. I mean,
He's just weird. You talk about
Yeah.
Rose being a little bit weird. The dude is a freak show, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he stands there like a statue in the middle of the ring, and then for 10 minutes not doing jack shit, and then it's just bomb, bomb, bomb,
Yeah.
break your face up, drop you. Not gonna follow you to the ground. I'm gonna tell the crowd to quiet down because I'm not finished knocking you out yet. Uh, just and then I mean, if the finish still confuses me, you know, I've watched
Oh, because of when at the
thousands
459.
and thousands of fights,
Yeah.
and you can't. I mean, I'm confused by a stoppage 3 seconds after a bell rings being
Yeah.
at uh 459. I do know that there is a bit of a stipulation where you can't just be knocked out on the ground. Um, as the bell rings, the judges can stop it. When we had Syed Awad on a couple
Yeah.
years ago now, he had a fight with Dave Caveman Rickles where he was in the fight, but he got hit a little bit. And as the round ended, he laid on the ground, kind of catching his breath. And
Mm.
the referee came in and waved it off, which obviously he didn't approve of. Um, and you see it in other fights where fights end all the time with guys laying on the ground and staring up at the ceiling for 10 seconds before they kind of, roll up on their feet and go to their corner. So I thought it was kind of weird. It just didn't make a lot of sense. And if we're being honest, coming off of the Carmouche stoppage, it made me wonder kind of where Beltran's at a little bit when that happens. Again, I don't know if it was he heard the bell. I don't know. In his
Mm.
mind, maybe it was 4:59, but I don't think that's a fair stoppage if
Mm.
you didn't think that was the case. The dude was still on his feet. I think you do need to give him the opportunity to stumble back to his corner. I mean, how many
Yeah.
rounds? How many rounds have we seen guys get
I don't
drugged
know.
to their corner?
He was pretty damaged after round two. I was kind of like, I mean, I know Romero was trying to. I mean, he admitted he was holding back because he wanted to go all three, but I mean, I feel like it could have been stopped sooner. I know I'm not the only one that shared that opinion. Really quick, I mean, I was talking about it from the last fight. I found out Eric McCracken just shared it, so I want to put it on the screen here. There's his logo right there, Combat Sports Law. This was De Jesus's like banner that she just held in the cage, so he did sponsor her for this event. So shout out to Eric McCracken at Combat Sports Law.
Nice. Yeah. So what do we got here? We have just entering the cage, waiting for the ring announcers. We got
Janessa Morandin and Liana Perosin.
There it is. Morandin 10-4, Perozin 7-4,
And the next fight after this is our homegirl Jillian DeCoursey, which is what we're gonna close the
which is our
podcast
main
with.
event. Yes,
Yeah.
the people's main event. So once anybody's done listening to this podcast, I highly recommend then you shoot, close our tab and you got the co-main and the main event for Invicta. So this is a flyweight fight. Perozin 29, Morandin 27. Morandin 5 foot tall to Perozin's 5'5". We shall see how this one unfolds. But while we wait for Joel Martinez to do his thing, um, yeah, I mean, getting back to Romero, so that was obviously kind of strange, weird stoppage, but you know, the right guy won the fight. I wonder how that goes with betters. If you had Romero by decision, you got screwed, and if you had him by TKO,
Mm.
you scored in that last second of that fight or whatever the heck they want to call it.
Speaking of betters, I mean, I just to jump back to UFC 274 really quick because you know me, I always have to get on my soapbox about Justin Gaethje. Um, I had $15 total on Gaethje. I had him the money line to win because he was the underdog, but also put $5 on him to get a knockdown in round one, which he did. So shout out to Justin Gaethje for never leaving me with empty pockets.
Completely, bro.
Yeah.
Enough for a Fedorov sandwich at the end of the day, huh?
Yeah, it was +4. He was +490. So I mean, $5 paid like $29. So it
There you
wasn't
go. A
bad.
couple sandwiches.
Yeah, two exactly. But fucking Brooklyn prices, two hoagies for $15.
Both girls take the center of the cage. Not a strike thrown yet. 19 seconds into the fight. So we shall see some feints. Still yet to see our first strike. There's a kick that misses by Mirandin and a jab that misses by Perosian. Highlight from this past Bellator event, though. I mean, obviously Romero was weird. I don't know about a highlight, but man, Lorenz Larkin takes care of Kyle Stewart, dominant fashion, 6 wins in a row. Just looks better than he's ever looked. I mean, other than maybe his win over Lawler, some of those wins he had. Mirandin, the shorter, stockier, fighter, kind of throwing her muscle around a little bit in there. They're back to the center of the cage, but she does look stronger in the clinch against the taller, wiry Perosian.
It seems like Mirandin. I mean, she, like you said about their dimensions. I don't think she's gonna. I mean, she's throwing she's packing a lot of heat behind those punches, but to make up for the reach she doesn't have. So I feel like she just shook her head no, like with that kick that she threw. I think, and that's what she's trying to do. She caught the leg, like she's trying to come in and close the distance and make pressure to land a bomb that drops her. But I don't know, the way she's throwing in this first round. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen here. Oh, but that reaches, forget it.
Mm-hmm. 1-2 from Perosian.
I doubt that if they're gonna grapple, I don't think it's gonna happen in this round. She just faked the kick. I don't know who the favorite was here, but I mean, she's playing with fire, kneeling like that. If she kneels like that again, I wouldn't be surprised if Mirandin comes with a knee up the middle.
According to Tapology, pretty dang close. Perosian -135 favorite.
Oh, nice! She tripped her. Oh, and they're at. I stand corrected. They went to the ground briefly. Crazy scramble. Second, yeah. She came at her a little too fast and literally like ran herself over her. She was so happy she got the knockdown. Oh, she's gonna get that throw? Almost. Oh, she leaned. This is where the dimensions of the longer fighter helped with that knee in the clinch against the cage like that. Nice pressure.
Yeah. Mirandin breaks off from the cage, creating some space, but she gets hit with a nice right hand.
Yeah, she's definitely a lot more. Perosian's a lot more crisp with hers.
Much more of a Muay Thai based striking. A lot of straight punches, which a few of them are getting through. Jumping back to UFC 274, I mean, we kind of bouncing around all over. Oh, nice right hand from Perosian. Getting some.
These girls are going for it. Yeah,
an exchange here. Yeah. But speaking of exchanges, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the chaos that was a round at about 15 seconds of Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson. My God. Tony Ferguson looked outstanding, had Chandler hurt early, looked great, and then probably the least expected way I could have ever pictured Michael Chandler winning a front kick, a teep kick to the face.
Yeah.
I've seen Chandler fight in person, 8 times roughly. Met him in person. I would have never thought that dude could get his foot up to Tony Ferguson's face.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Ferguson. I've stood next to Michael Chandler. Tony Ferguson's as tall as I am. He's 5'11", and I'm just like the fact that it's funny. If you watch the UFC does these, a lot. They do their social, their reach with everything they do is so deep. There's a thing they do on their YouTube channel called Quick Hits that's hosted by Laura Sanko. She spoke to him Michael Chandler immediately after the event backstage, and one of the things Chandler said was like, it's not a kick he throws often, and he noticed how because of, I mean, we talk about ectomorphs and lanky fighters, because he stands so with his hands so far in front of him and his chin out. He said he was like, I just kept seeing this path, and I said, what the hell? And he threw it, and lo and behold, that one of the most vicious knockouts we've probably seen in a while, because he was down for a while. Like, it was concerning.
It was concerning when the cameraman's not showing the fighter
Mm-hmm.
down, and you could see Bruce Buffer had a very concerned look on his face when he kind of got caught on camera. I mean, of all the ways to win, I mean, you can't even blame Ferguson for not being really prepared for that. I mean, how do
Yeah.
it's not something you would ever train for. I mean, if you're Ferguson, you're probably thinking, oh, he's going to just front kick me on the thigh, or he's going to hit
Mm-hmm.
me with a little body shot, and I'm going to walk right through it, and I'm going to continue to do what I'm kind of doing to it, what I did to him for the first round. Um, but to all of a sudden have that leg go all the way up and just land perfectly on the bottom of your chin. And I mean, it face planted Ferguson. My main concern was the way Ferguson fell, and it always goes back to Justin Thornton, how he passed away in BKFC. And when
Yeah,
guy,
it's funny you're saying. I thought the same thing.
and that when they weren't showing him on camera, I was like, okay. And then they showed the replay, and I was like, okay, well, luckily he was able to kind of slide it out and
Mm-hmm.
landed more on his face as opposed to his forehead, top of the
Yeah,
head,
like, yeah, right on the spine and
which
neck,
could have
and
ended, tragically. So, but that was my main concern was, and then when you get a kick like that, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but it can't be good for your spine. There could be a lot of it's your neck,
mm-hmm.
it's your, I was shocked he didn't have a broken jaw, to be honest with you. I mean, um, it was, it was on the level of all the ones we've seen, the Anderson Silva, Vitor, and Machida Belfort, and Machida Couture, and even Marlon Vera, um, Frankie Edgar. I mean, we've seen it a few times, but um, it's really one of those knockouts that's like maybe the most shocking kind of knockout we get in MMA right now, other than maybe like a spinning back fist or something that kind of comes out of nowhere. It's like you just don't expect to see it, especially from kind of a short, stocky, bulky, strong fighter like
Yeah, and
Chandler.
now, and like you said, Ferguson was looking good before that happened. Like, he dropped Chandler. I mean, there was that. The only thing about that finish is, like, it robbed us of, like, what could have been a potential fight of the night. Something for the future UFC Hall of Fame type of deal. Because I mean, I would have loved to have seen that go all the distance. But I mean, none of these guys, I forget who says the quote, "We don't get paid by the hour," or whatever it is. So I mean, they want, that's what every fighter is striving for, to get a finish and move, least amount of damage so they can move on to the next one. Now we might not see Michael Chandler until July. According to him, he wants to rest until July, late July or early fall. Um, Around that time is when we'll see him again. I don't know, what do you think they do? I mean, we talked about the lightweight mess with the vacant title. We just read off the rankings. I mean, from those top 5 fighters, there's a lot of fights to make. I mean, if I wrote a piece on Chandler, what he said in that quick hits piece, as far as like his options, because he called out McGregor, he called out Gaethje, he called out Oliveira, right? So I mean, what do you do? Like, I mean, I know folks are trying to make their case for Islam Makhachev to get the next title shot, or fight for a title, since it's vacant as we're recording this. But what fight do you want to see?
Well, with Chandler, it's complicated because he's already got a loss to Oliveira and
Mm-hmm.
he's got a loss to Gaethje. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
uh, without knowing how many fights we're going to get out of Michael Chandler,
Mm-hmm.
win or lose, like if he continues to have battles like he's continually had, I mean, you got to
Yeah.
assume that it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
Um, he basically is kind of on that Eddie Alvarez, uh, you know, the way Eddie Alvarez came to the UFC is somewhat similar. Obviously, Chandler did not win his title when he had the opportunity, but I mean, it's just been exciting fights and kind of what you hope for when he signed. And same thing we got with Eddie. We got some memorable fights, and whether they went his way or the
Mm-hmm.
opposite. As far as Oliveira goes, if we're keeping it in the division, I think Makhachev is the fight that I want to see. I think he
Mm.
just of the ranked guys. I think he.
You want to see Chandler Makhachev, or
No, no,
Chandler
no. I want to see
Oliveira?
Oliveira Makhachev if we're keeping it in the division.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The wild side of me, if we're gonna say Makhachev needs another win to earn a title shot, would be what if Volkanovski were to beat
Mm.
Holloway in July and decide to maybe we get a clash of two
Yeah,
champions that have kind of dominated
I've
basically their division, top five already.
and I feel like you're not the only person that I've seen say that, because that's actually a lot of fun. But when we think, and I don't mind this, what I'm about to say. I know I'm gonna go against all my fucking morals or whatever.
Girls are
But
throwing right now in the middle of the cage.
yeah, they're in round two of Feroz and Miranda's.
Ferguson is I think winning this
Oh,
fight, but
nice body shot she just
Miranda's
went for.
fighting back.
Oh, she landed a left high kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miranda's there for it too, man. What a little tough little cookie.
Yeah, no, she's constantly coming, but
Yeah,
coming at her, but I just
but
Perosin seems to be picking her up. Oh, big left hand on the as Miranda came in from Perosin. Um, but yeah, I mean,
something
so
about
finish up
that
what
low
you were gonna.
center. Yeah, something about that low center of gravity on
Round two comes to an end.
Miranda makes it look like she's got a power advantage. But yeah, so what I was saying was I'm not going to mind at all if they do if they, because Chandler, I feel like Chandler deserves a break. I mean, look, he's fought a lot since he's gotten there, and he's 36, so maybe give him some rest, give him some time with his family, his newly adopted kid, and let him fight Connor when Connor wants to come back. Do
That
that
fight
no
make. I mean,
Do that in
I'm
November,
all.
Madison Square Garden. If you put
Yep.
Chandler McGregor, Madison Square Garden, November,
Yep. Let's
I
do my
guarantee
birthday weekend again. Let's make it real simple across the board here.
that breaks
Um,
records. I guarantee you breaks records. Chandler, win or lose, gets the payday that he mentioned. I mean, not just payday. I mean, he talked about legacy and the eyeballs when you fight. I mean, he was really respectful about McGregor, called him an icon, and said like someone like facing someone like him, you'll have more eyeballs on you globally than you ever will, and he's right about that, and he deserves it. I mean, when the piece that I wrote, I kind of mentioned how, like we know more than the average UFC fan knows about Michael Chandler before he fought his first fight there. I mean, there's folks that were like, "Who is this guy?" When he first fought there, and you and I were, we're all aboard the Michael Chandler hype train, and the fact that he finished Tony Ferguson the way that he did lets you know that Bellator does not produce, B or C level fighters. They produce world
no,
class
no.
fighters.
When the top come out,
Mm-hmm.
the top of the top, no matter what
Mm-hmm.
organization we're talking about. Um, So I do disagree with you a bit about Chandler taking too much of a rest. The
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I fault the UFC for, and I don't know if it's the UFC's fault or the fighters themselves' fault, when you're hot, strike while you're hot.
Mm.
Right now, Chandler is a commodity that people want to watch fight. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it was with Masvidal. Like with Masvidal, he got the win over Askren, and then we got friggin' 6 months until he fought Diaz, which was kind of a worthless fight, and then we didn't see him again for like another 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
7 months. I feel like when you're hot, go get that money. Um, you're not good. You're not an undefeated fighter. I mean, what? Nothing. Let's say he fights Gagey again. He rematches Gagey in, let's say, like August.
Which is another one that fucking brings
And
eyeballs and asses and
even if he
seats.
loses again,
Yeah,
it's not like there's still not.
that's got Chandler Alvarez vibes if he fights Gaethje again.
To me, it's like get the money while you can get the money.
Mm,
Right now, you're basically a main event fighter for the UFC.
yeah,
You're not on Masvidal's level. When Masvidal was hot, Masvidal could have headlined any event for the UFC, and he didn't fight. He kind of stood along, and he got into Twitter
but
battles with
but a
people
fight with
online.
McGregor gets him to that level.
I
That's
know,
what.
but the talk about the McGregor fight, because you don't know when McGregor's going to fight.
Yeah, that's true.
McGregor's going to, unless
That's
right
the
now they
biggest
want,
truth. Yeah.
if they want to book you 6 months out for a McGregor fight, then you take the McGregor fight. But I'm certainly not going to wait around and wait for McGregor to decide that he wants to fight. If you
Oof.
fall into that, you might be throwing away Miranda with the takedown. Can she
Yeah,
keep
these
her
chicks are
down?
going for it.
All right, she's in half mount. Uh, 3 minutes left in the round. So I do think she's down 2 rounds to none. I have not seen the official scorecards, but she's certainly in an advantage position right now. And
Hmm.
see how this unfolds here while they're on the ground. But getting back to Chandler again, I mean, I just believe you get the money when you get the money. You're 36 years old, waiting around 9 months, or I mean, it's not that long. It would be waiting around about 6 months, 7 months, for for Connor.
Mm-hmm.
that's still half a year. I tend to think like if you're healthy and you go get that money, win or lose, go get a couple hundred more grand in your friggin' bank account, half million in
Yeah.
your bank account,
I mean,
and
I don't, I can see why you would go that route. I just, when I think about the thing he said to me, this was back in New York, and at the one of the things they did at Viacom when I was talking to him about BCAAs, which is
oh, she got. Oh,
oh shit,
I thought she had a choke. Now she's got full mount.
yeah, but
She's looking at an arm. A
he's
minute 45 left.
yeah, that's a lot of time to make
Oh,
something
she gets
happen
the
from
hook.
now.
Hooks in. She's kind of now she's back into full
Oh,
mount.
she's spinning for that arm, but she's spinning the wrong way.
She's looking at the arm a lot,
Yeah,
but yeah, like you said, she seems to go in the wrong direction to try to get it. She's kind of settling in and mount right now,
she can get an
catching
arm
her breath.
triangle there if she pushes that on that tricep from where she's at. But she's not going to go for it. I think I think she might be a little too excited about where she's at. She's trying to go for a key lock there. Um, um, he talked about how because if you watch training footage of Chandler, I mean, the guy takes himself to, you know, he literally puts himself through the ringer to be in the shape that he's in and do those flips and produce the power that we saw him produce.
Oh,
Oh,
two gigantic elbows from
yeah.
Brandon as Perosin kind of was worried about potential maybe a key lock and Kimura, and she left her face exposed and took
Yeah.
two hard shots.
I don't like this rubber guard. I mean, I know it's like an MMA guard, but I always feel like it's just I mean, it didn't even work out for her because she's still getting pounded out. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I just I feel like Chandler deserves some rest, but I hear what you're saying.
If he wants the rest and they're gonna give him a fight, I just hate to see him sit out 6-7 months and then all of a sudden see him fighting, you know, anybody else other than Connor. If you're gonna wait that long out, then get the mega payday.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if it's a great matchup for him. If I'm being honest, I love Michael Chandler, but he does get hit. And if you fight McGregor and you allow him to touch you,
Yeah, it's true
you
too.
you do enter a same thing with Oliveira. I mean, I think
Oh,
Oliveira would
Pearson got a nice little egg on from those elbows on her forehead. I don't know if you saw
yeah.
that at the
Yeah,
end
it'll
of the
be
fight.
interesting to see how these judges score this. I mean, Miranda certainly won the last round, but the first two rounds I thought Perosin controlled. So we shall see. Both corners kind of acting like they're the winning fighter. So that always, with open scoring, you always wonder that. If
Yeah.
I didn't see this open score, so maybe she knows she won. That's the difference. If you're Miranda and you win that last round, and you were already up on the cards, but I don't. Yeah, I'm seeing some comments on the channel saying it's either Perosin or a draw. I suppose I don't. I don't think the last round was a 10-8 round, but
Mm.
you know, real quick before they announce the judges' decisions, what's your take on a 10-10 round? Getting back to UFC 274 and the Sparza Namajunas fight. I mean, if round one of that fight's not a 10-10 round, then let's just say that 10-10 rounds never exist, right?
Yeah, I saw that come up a lot too. I mean, it's worth mentioning, I guess. I honestly, you know, they were even talking about it on the broadcast to um I
All right,
mean,
here we go.
just
Here
to
we
say
go
no
for
one scored. I mean, awarding 10 is like max number of points, though. I feel like that's weird. Like, I don't know.
all right, so let's see what we got here. Judges' scorecards being read right now. If we go to the judges' scorecards, we have a split decision.
Oh
We have 29-28, 29-28, and 29-28 for your split decision winner,
Perosin.
Liana Perosin. So wow.
Hmm. I mean, it's a split decision. I can't hate on it.
No, I mean the judges agreed with me basically that two of the three judges agreed with me that she won the first two rounds and lost the third, and somewhere in between the first and second round, one of the judges gave it to Miranda. And so, um, good fight. Entertaining fight. Two girls that were really going for it. Um, No finishes tonight though, so we shall see where that leaves us with our main event just around the corner. Fights of notes also that took place this past weekend, BKFC 25. Arnold Adams defended his heavyweight title against Dylan Kleckler. I thought Kleckler, honestly, coming into this fight was probably the future of the heavyweight division as far as at least beating Adams. I thought he had too big of a punch. Came out, dropped Adams with a jab about a minute into the fight. All that did was wake up Adams, who's kind of known as technical. Some people consider him boring, tends to win some decisions. He came back ferocious and he dropped Kleckler towards the end of the first round and then put him down just in devastating fashion in the second round, leaving him with basically two eyes completely swollen shut. I mean, I think even Kleckler, when he was on his knees getting ready to try to get up the second time, pointed at his eyes and just goes, "What's the point? I'm blind in both eyes." So big win for Adams. I mean, heavyweight champ. I'm not sure who beats him at this point. I thought Kleckler, like I said, he had the fight with Thornton, which was a major punch that he landed, and then he had several other knockouts prior to that. But just a big win for Adams, and BKFC continues to move on. I see that they got an event scheduled for the Netherlands coming up. I still need to go back and watch the Thailand card from this past weekend. I didn't get a chance to catch that with UFC on Saturday, but they're doing their thing. I don't know what their viewers are getting, but it's definitely its own little thing now. It's established itself as in a little niche area of this sport. One other fighter of note, if we have any pro wrestling fans, and this is something that I didn't notice until the night of the fight, Jack Claffey, who wrestled in WWE as Gentleman Jack Gallagher, made his BKFC debut.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and was getting beat up early, and he came back and put on a fight of the night performance and picked up a knockout in the third round after arguably losing the first two rounds. Had cuts under both eyes. One of his eyes had actually a cut on the bottom and top of it. So he was kind of in desperation mode, and he came out and he just dropped his opponent. I think it was 3 times in what turned out to be the final, the third round where he got the TKO finish. But yeah, just, like I said, snuck under the thing. Not somebody that I really followed in the pro wrestling world. I did see him a few times. Smaller guy, came up, I believe, through NXT, where he was one of their champions at one time. But just
I'm
seemed
surprised. I got to tell Jeff about that because he's
seemed like a good sport and somebody who's into fighting and might have some excitement. Some exciting fights in the future. So that's Jack Claffey, is I'm assuming that is his real name, as he continues his combat career. So that was of note. David Mundell, the number 1 ranked contender at light heavyweight, picked up a win over Julian Lane. Julian Lane suffers another loss. He's on a little bit of a losing streak, but seems to be in good spirits. He was getting interviewed, and we all know the "Let Me Bang, Bro," dude, and saw an interview with him where he seemed more down to earth and really happy and content with life, which good for him, man. Said he's making money, life's good for him. He's keeping busy in BKFC. So if somebody, if he found his niche, and if he, even with some losses on his record, he he's somebody I'll pay to watch in BKFC. I mean, he goes out there and doesn't leave it up to I shouldn't say leaves it. Some of the fights go to the judges, but it's not because he wants it to go to the judges. So interesting fight. But BKFC continues to move on and really just be a show of violence. Although I do think that it's when we had Sean Wheelock on, I asked him if he thought there would be anything that would change as a result of the passing of Thornton, and he kind of said no, everything's the same. BKFC seems a little different. We get more decisions than I remember in the past, although there was a lot of knockouts on his last card. Several doctor stoppages due to cuts, which isn't always the greatest thing when you're when you're watching fights, but it's something that shows that obviously.
All right, sorry to
it's
cut
not
you
a
off.
blood sport.
Our girls
Nope.
making our way into the cage. Lionheart, Jillian DeCoursey's walking into the Invicta FC cage right now. She looks super focused. She's actually really scary looking right now. I'm used to seeing her all smiles and joking around, but I mean, not for nothing. These the people that fight professionally, they do have that over the top switch. And right now, if you know the movie reference I'm making, Jillian DeCoursey just switched her baseball cap to the back so she
Just
could
turn it around.
yeah, so she could
Go over the top.
yeah. I mean, listen, we had her. If you, again, I also linked to that interview. If you're watching this on YouTube, I linked to that on our YouTube channel here at the bottom. The interview we had with her. This is a rematch. They fought in the amateurs before, and if you watch the little hype piece that they do before this, she referenced that about how they've both evolved so much. I mean, since their amateur days. I mean, you know, DeCoursey's fought here. She's fought in CFFC for the title on short notice. Van Zant's fought in Bellator. She's beaten some of Japan or Ryzen. She went to the Ryzen, or she beat the Ryzen fighter. Who's
Reina,
yeah,
big upset.
yeah, who no one thought you was gonna win. So this is like I said. I mean, if you stand up New York, this is two ladies from New York about to throw down. Super excited about this fight. I mean, it's the timing is great because we talked about all the news we wanted to talk about, and this is our main event for the podcast. There's going to be 2 more fights after this, leading up to the Zapatella Dakota main event, official main event on the card. But for us, because homegirl Jillian DeCoursey's fighting, obviously we're cheering for her. I don't mind Lindsey Van Zandt doing well either, you know, because I'm a fan of hers as well. But you know, both fighters out of New York. This is I've been since the announcement came, I've been calling this this is the women's MMA Subway series. Even though they're kind of both from the same area, but you know what I mean. Got to get all the New York City references out of the way. I wonder what music they came into. I know we can't play it because of the way we're recording this, but I'll probably rewatch this just to hear all the audio and stuff that we missed. I'm curious to what they walked into. Hey, you know what's funny? When we had Jillian on the podcast, you had asked her about Jason Voorhees, and it's so the coincidence is like not only is it the anniversary this week of the original Friday the 13th, but this Friday is Friday the 13th. So how fucking weird
There
is
it
that?
is. There it is. And she agreed with me that the baghead Jason is the baddest ass Jason that there was. So, you know, this is going to be an interesting fight. If it stays on the feet, I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see how this unfolds.
I'm pulling the plug on the podcast if Jillian loses. I'm kidding. We're not even going to say goodbye. We're just off. I'll go home. I'm taking my toys and I'm going home.
Just in case this fight does end quick and we don't get a chance to mention it, obviously there is also a good Bellator event this Friday from the
Bellator
UK.
281.
Yes. Headlined by the interim title fight between Michael Venom Page and Logan Storley.
Yeah.
Card also has Loyato Machida, Fabian Edwards, Denise Kielholtz versus Juan Tanabe, and the retirement fight for the great, one of my heroes of the sport, Paul Daly. Quick tail of the tape over here. DeCoursey 37, Van Zandt 28. Both women are 5'2", both weighing in at essentially 106 pounds. And both women real close reach advantage. Van Zandt 64-inch to DeCoursey 63. Fights taking place at atomweight, where really the only atomweight fights that take place of any kind of real note, at least in the United States, is in Invicta. So we shall see how this goes. But yeah, so big time Bellator event. Just checking the timing. Looks like we got a 1 p.m. Eastern start time for the prelims. Of course, that'll be on Showtime with the prelims. Usually, I imagine they're also through their YouTube channel and their app.
Yeah, the prelims are usually both on the Showtime Sports and Bellator MMA's YouTube channel. When the main card starts, then it's just Showtime.
All right.
So I'll be sneaking it in. Hopefully, I can get the whole card in. I can try to sneak it in, on the tabs at the old job.
All right. We got
Wow,
referee Marcos
Mu-
La Silva.
I thought he was
Almo-
the mummy from the
He
original
almost
Mummy films.
he almost got tripped up by the camera cable. Fighter, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on. Fighters touch gloves, and we are
Let's
set.
go.
Both women take the center of the cage. Right hands
If
from Van
if I'm not
Zant, right hand
mistaken,
from DeCoursey.
I think the winner of this is in line for the atomweight title. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like I saw that this week. It might have been somebody just mentioning it. I'd have to check the last press release I got, but I mean, again, I'll well, if you're watching this and I have the link, they'll probably mention it too. Um,
DeCoursey a little more active, but nothing really significant landed yet.
her 3 losses are all by decision. She doesn't really like get finished, so she's definitely gonna. If I were to say there was a more durable, and I know I'm being a bit of a fanboy because of having her on the podcast and stuff, but she's definitely
Oh, DeCoursey with the knockout out cold.
wow.
Holy crap. Oh my. An absolute, I mean, Van Zant is laid out unconscious in the center of the cage.
Wow. First round finish too. Oh my god.
Wow, your screen even went blank in the excitement. I'm looking at laser eyes. Looks like
I
she's
know.
okay. She's catching her consciousness back,
Oh my god.
answering questions. But yeah, she was stiff, knocked out cold. Uh, DeCoursey is obviously elated by the finish. Seems a bit shocked by it in a sense, also. But you can see she's holding in her joy and maybe a little bit of disbelief that it ended that way. I
Yeah, that's
mean,
crazy. That's crazy. I know my camera just went off. I have to switch to the other camera.
the I mean, we're not talking just crazy because it was a knockout by somebody we were cheering for who comes on the show, but at 105 pounds, you don't see that kind of total unconscious knockout. Some blood coming from the nose of Van as she recovers. Could possibly have a broken nose. As DeCoursey laughs it up a little bit with Joel Martinez in the background. Uh, wow. Well, I got to see that replay. I think it was a big overhand right, and then just put her out cold, and then she finished it with a couple, hammer fists that probably weren't all that necessary. But
Hey, it's what you got to do, right?
oh, you got to do no. It's
Yeah,
yeah, not
it's
a knock. But I think she was already unconscious. Let's see if I. Oh,
es-
straight right hand. Is that what it was? It looked like a.
especially.
Oh
es-
yeah, oh yeah. Laser right hand. Two hammer fists on an extremely wounded fighter. That straight right hand was just devastating. Van Zant came in and she just countered with a huge right hand right on the chin.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's
Wow. Lightning quick. That's the other thing, when you get 105-pound
wasn't even.
fighters.
I wasn't expecting her. I wasn't expect. I thought they were going to go to war. I wasn't expecting. I mean, wow.
Well, you were right before that happened. You were talking about a title shot to the winner, and I don't think at atom weight you're going to get a more
No.
highlight reel finish than that. So, you know, uh, Van Zant looks to have a broken nose or
Yeah.
some heavy damage to
I
the
mean, it
nose
looks like
area.
her ego's
DeCoursey
probably hurt.
doesn't even get touched, and perhaps my prediction of a New York Invicta event with a atomweight title.
Or
What?
bring it to Atlantic City. We had her 2 times on the podcast. Bring it to
There we
Atlantic
go. There we
City.
go. Maybe that's what I said. Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we can bring it to Jersey. Make your life a little bit easier,
And hers. Yeah.
and hers. But my God, I didn't see it finishing like that. I thought she'd figure out
Yeah.
a way to win, but holy moly!
Yeah. There she goes. All right. I love
Well,
it. I love it.
on the week of Friday the 13th, Jason's
Yeah.
not the only one who's caught a body. That is for sure.
Oh, wow. That's a good
Wow.
one, bro.
Wow. tempted to break the rules here and listen to this post-fight interview.
Do it afterwards. I don't want to. You're gonna fuck up my whole editing. I have to edit this and stuff. Then you'll
It's a
have
good
to.
thing that was a quick fight, as my dog Halo is pounding on her food dish,
Oh.
wondering why there's no
Yeah,
food.
my camera died because we went over an hour. But yeah,
Wow. We've known each other
Julian
for
hit so hard he knocked
years.
my camera out.
Fought as amateurs. I'm trying to read through the
Yeah,
exciting to fight people like you. Makes it more
personally.
fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
We always root for each other at each other's fights.
Yeah, but she's never been like a trash talk. Like
No,
what I
no,
mean.
no, no,
She's
not
always
at
super
all.
respectful and stuff like that. So what a great. I mean, if anybody deserves to be a champion and would hold the belt and represent, she's definitely
Technically
the one.
perfect. She had
Ooh,
that. She had her right
the
hand
replay,
up
yeah.
on her chin. She was perfect defense, and Van Zant dipped in to kind of
Oh
come
my
with her own
god.
overhead. Van Zant tried to get like a lunging right hand, and when she dipped down, she just got caught with a laser short right hand
Talk about
right
the
on the
focus.
chin,
Ooh, yeah.
and then
That shot,
two
yeah,
ferocious hammer fists. I mean, it
yeah.
was,
And it
and then
was
she
more. It
held
was like
off on the last
forearm,
one.
yeah. Yeah, man.
Wow. Seems like, yeah, she just asked for a title shot. She said she earned it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Let her get. I mean, she's already fought for one title on short notice at CFFC. Let her have this one, man. She's. I mean, come on. She's. If not, then CFFC will probably bring her over full time, and you know what I mean. Like, she's technically their social media person anyway. Team Lionheart. Oh, I gotta find out where I can buy a shirt off of her for that. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I love it.
Wow. Well, I mean, an hour and 17. This might
Yeah.
be our longest show ever, but that was
Yeah.
well worth it. And
Yeah, I
holy
mean,
crap!
we're
I
led up
mean,
to a congratulations. This one's dedicated to her in that win. This was Invicta FC Fightside Chat, brought to you by AllAccessMMA.com. Matt, you might as well take us out so you can get your dog some food and I can rewatch this with the audio.
all right. Congratulations, Jillian. And we look forward to having you back on the show, whether it's as a guest or filling in for me while I'm out of town. But until then, check us out at Combat Hour on Twitter, Coast to Coast Combat Hour on Instagram. You can follow me, Matthew Hawkins, at MMA Hawk 21. Follow Ed at Carbazol on Twitter, Carbeerzol on Instagram, Old Head Carb on Twitch. And just again, check us out always at allaccessmma.com for our video podcast. Ed, that just made my Wednesday night.
Oh man,
I know you tend to be a little bit, unbiased, but obviously,
not
when we have a
tonight.
friend of the show who has been nothing but generous with her time for our show,
Home girl. Home
it's
girl.
hard not to be elated for what we just saw.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
again, congratulations, Jillian. Recover, Lindsay, and my God, let's get a title fight, like you said, in Atlantic City. Listen, Shannon Knapp, let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's make it easy.
Make
Let's
the
let Ed get
movie
to the
a
fight.
reality. Yeah.
Bring the Combat Hour to an Invicta event and crown an atomweight champion that is a friend of the show. Good night,
Word.
everybody. Enjoy all the action this weekend, and talk to you next week. Thanks for listening.
Peace.